Hello.
Music is good, eh?
Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello.
Marilyn was busy planting, but did a ride at Chicoutimi yesterday. I hope the weather is nice.
Yes.
Remy, you told me you'd be late. I'm happy you're here. I hope it was nothing serious. How was everyone's week? How was your week?
Or weekend?
And weekend.
I would take 3-day weekends every day.
It's fun.
Yeah, we did have a lot of stuff done. We did a lot of stuff, and we did a lot of entertainment. We had the Beauce Carnaval in town.
For the 1st of July?
No, it just happened to be there. You know, the boats, là? Les manèges, là? The rides and stuff. Là?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
went there.
A local
Yeah.
fair. The local fair was in your village.
Yeah, but it's not local. It's like the one that travels.
Oh, cool.
From city to city. You don't know Beauce Carnaval?
No.
Annie. It's
I'm
like
sorry.
it's like a small park attraction, like with the
Normally when I celebrated the 1st of July in the West Island of Montreal, there was a carnival there. It might be that.
Yeah, but no, it's not. It has nothing to do with the 1st of July.
Okay.
It just happened to be the 1st of July, but it goes from city to city and stays there for like 4 days. And it happened to be there this weekend. So we went there. The kids went to the movies. And we built a bed. I have
a garden
child.
Bed? Or a bed to sleep, or a garden bed?
To sleep.
Ooh.
Because I have a child that still sleeps with the mattress on the floor. And I was like...
It's time.
Yeah, do something about it. She never complained, but I was like, yeah, we need to do something. So it was a family project. We're not done, but we did build a nice bed, a nice pink bed out of pallets. And I think it's going to look cool.
Well,
my boyfriend doesn't think so, but I think it's going to be nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I have some
paint leftover project.
Yeah.
Remy says he's on vacation.
Oh, lucky guy. Well, I'm always sad on Sunday nights because I don't want my husband to work tomorrow.
Well, he says he's on vacation.
Yeah,
but he's like full homestead mode right now, so yeah. I'm not sure it's going to be a vacation.
He will not work.
Yeah. Hello, Ren's Homestead, and welcome.
Hi.
I'm not sure what
that's a mermaid and a heart. Is it?
I think so. It looks like
it's either a mermaid or a little guy with a trumpet butt.
I don't know. That's Ren, what's this? You always have this weird icons coming up. You're gonna have to explain that one. So how was your week? I forgot his name. Is it Jake? Oh, I'm terrible with names. It looks like a mermaid, but there's like this fork thing going on, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but there was a small heart.
Could it be a heart? Well, it looks like a fork.
Like a heart here, and I don't know.
Hello, Homestead.
Hello.
It's definitely not a mermaid. It's a merman.
Merman, yeah.
Sorry. So sorry.
It's Aquaman.
It's Aquaman. Yeah, but it has a tail.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got stuck on a little small detail. God of the Sea, what's his name? Le Trident, what's his name? That's the mighty trident. I was right. It looked like a fork, but what's
Poseidon?
That's it, Poseidon.
I knew it. From at the tip of my fingers, I knew it.
hope everyone had a nice week. Now I'm going to let Danielle introduce herself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me first. First thing first.
Mhm.
I'm from Boreal Homestead. I have this small YouTube channel in English, and I have another one which is called Maman Simplifiée in French, which is a lot older than this one. On Boreal Homestead, I do feel like an imposter always to say that I do some homesteading, because I don't feel like a hardcore homesteader yet. I'm a mom of 5. We homeschool. They are age 9, 7, 4, and 2-year-old twins. Yeah, that's my life. I garden
So
and
you're a
I feed
stay-at-home
kids.
mom
Yeah,
dash homesteader dash homeschooler mom.
yeah. So I feed kids and I garden with kids, and I do everything with my kids. So
And you said you had 5
yeah,
with a set of twins.
with a set of twins, 2-year-olds, 2-year-old twins right now, which is why I don't upload much these days, because
Terrible twos.
yeah, it's a challenge.
I remember those terrible twos. And no.
Yeah, well, it's more a lack of sleep. I mean, I have one that goes to bed late and one that wakes up early, so I don't have that much time to do any editing or stuff like that.
The challenges
But
of being a mom.
yeah.
So you did say that you homeschool. Have you been always homeschooling?
Yes, actually, we decided to homeschool when my oldest was maybe 6 months old, and she never went to school, neither of any of my other kids. We actually not only homeschool, but we unschool, which I'm not going to go super deep into that, because when you start to talk about it, it can take hours trying to explain what it is. And the first impression of it is, wow, she's not doing anything. But unschooling is more of a child-led learning. We
So
don't
like
have any.
So you're kind of using the
Well, no, I actually don't really impose anything school-wise to my kids. I try to take their interests or what we do in life and try to pull everything we can in it, to have them see as much information as we can when we do something.
So
I
you
don't know
use
how.
life. You just simply school
Yeah,
your kids with
we
basics
life.
life.
Yeah, yeah, we live our life, and I'm just super. I don't know. How do we say?
You can say it in
I
French. I
forgot.
can help you out.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn to look for the word in French. I know it's no big deal. It's just that I'm trying to be super conscientious on what we do, to not do like the bed project. I can do it by myself, or I can include the kids. So, and I can have them measure everything. I can have them cut everything. I can have them calculate the budget for the paint and stuff like that, or I can just do it by myself. So I'm trying to include them in every part of life as much as I can.
And you're schooling at the same time.
Yeah, but they're still young. So right now, here in Quebec, we have some really strict rules in regards to homeschooling, and right now with their age, we can see everything they need to see doing things like that. I don't know how it's gonna go like in high school levels or things like that, but right now it's working super well, especially in a homestead environment. So I don't know if I'm clear in how it works.
No, I understand.
Yeah, but I mean, unschooling is really a deep subject in itself. So the subject is not unschooling today, but it's just to explain how I include the kids in the life. We don't sit with books a certain amount of hours per day. That's really the most important part of what I'm trying to say.
So you kind of sort of answered one of my last questions. So that means when you go gardening, when you go fertilize your plants, when you go around on your homestead, you use every single aspect of that and you try to make it as schooling as possible.
Yeah, well, I try to, because I mean, that's why I keep them home with me. I
Hmm.
think it's a better way to learn, at least for them. Uh, and yeah, we need to see to learn to see these opportunities for the kids to, yeah, fertilizer. How much fertilizer do I need to put in my huge can or whatever that I'm using, to follow the instruction, to read instructions, to understand them. Read in French, we read in English, watch videos on what we need to do, and most of the time it's it includes just letting them be and doing their
Letting them be
projects.
kids as long as they can.
Yeah, and as I mean, it's not funny because it's how kids are, but they always end up with projects, and I mean, I'm always amazed when how much they learn more when I'm not there, when I'm not trying to have them learn stuff, than when they just go by themselves and do something.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's exhausting,
Well, I was going to
but
say
it's
there's a
nice.
flip side to that. Well, I know that you're giving all to your kids, but there's a flip side. So if a project would normally take an hour,
Oh,
it
it
maybe
takes
takes 2 to
10.
5 hours.
Yeah, it's that's why at first I was saying that unschooling, most people that learn about unschooling at first, uh, it looks like we're not doing anything, because you do have those parents that unschool that just don't do anything with their kids. uh, but when you do it properly, it actually takes a lot more investment in your kids, because I just won't stay in the kitchen and cook something by myself. I mean, someone's gonna want to join, and I will let them join, and I'm gonna let them do all the fun parts. They always want to do the fun parts, never the boring parts. They
Obviously.
don't want to do the dishes. They want
I'm
to
sure they
to
don't want to do dishes.
I don't know. I didn't ask, no, but yeah. But I mean, it's part of the learning process too. They have to do the boring stuff too. But yeah, it does take a lot more time doing everything, especially with the babies and with the older ones that want to help. Always, they always want to help, uh, and yeah, it takes a lot more time.
Before I get into the subject of the live, I'm not sure if everyone saw it, but I hit another milestone on the channel. I think it was on last Friday. I was on the live of Remy. Not this one, the week before. I hit 600 subscribers.
That's
And thank you. And then I looked at my watch hours and I'm like super, super, super close of hitting the half point of getting qualified for, well, requesting to be qualified for the monetization. So
that's
I
nice.
wanted to say a big, 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 big thank you to you guys. And I think I'm at 610 or 611 since then. So you guys are telling me that you were enjoying what you're watching. Is it 10 or 11? It's 610. And to celebrate that, Remy helped me design t-shirts that is now available on my Redbubble account. And I also added a sticker. So I'm not sure if can I add my Redbubble account here? I think so. Can I copy this?
That's really a nice milestone.
Yes,
You're more than halfway there.
well. I know that I'm always almost half. So it's like
And like I told you, it always goes like in a down C. It's like
Yeah.
and you're stuck at like 600 for like a month, and then boom, you have 55. So
Yeah.
it's really
Well,
nice to see, and it's
I went
exponential.
from 350 to 500 in like less than a month, or maybe a little bit over a month. And I
Wow,
was
that's
like, I was
nice.
on a wave. And then as soon as I hit 500, I hit a wall.
Hmm.
It actually coincides. I got the virus and I couldn't publish a lot, and I wasn't as much on lives and as much on the social media. So now I'm like about a month and a half after that. So the wave kind of started back, and I'm also publishing more. So I've
Yeah, that
added,
helps.
yeah, it does. I've added the Redbubble link. I'm not sure if it works.
When I
I'll
hit my first thousand on my other channel, I actually fell down and lost a few subscribers. Once I hit it, I was like 1,001, 1,002, then bam, 96. I was so mad.
because you have to wait to ask.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's also like the in your head. I hit 1,000 subscribers, and you don't think it's gonna go down again,
No, you
but
don't.
it sometimes does.
Well, now YouTube has a funny way of removing subs, as if what you do is you go on a channel and you sub and then you leave. YouTube
Yeah,
sometimes cleans you out. So let's just say you have a +5 and then the next day you have a -5. It's because those 5 accounts just like literally just did sub. So
yeah,
you're not really being subbed. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't.
yeah. It's to prevent these sub for sub and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's pretty fair.
I love the whole idea. The way you talk about it is amazing. I'm just wondering, how do they socialize?
Well, that's a good question, Remy, because it's one of the first question you ask yourself when you start homeschooling, when you want to, when you even consider it. It's actually really hard to consider how kids can socialize if they don't go to school, because we went to school and that's where we met so many people. But turns out that there's people outside of school during the week.
Well,
I
you're not
mean,
the only one that's
yeah.
homeschooling.
First off, we do have even here we're one of the regions where there's not many kids per, I'm gonna say,
Per household.
per square meter
Okay.
that homeschool, because we're a really really big region with not many people. So so but even here, yeah, we have kids in the neighborhood. My kids play with the neighbors each day, especially in the summer. They're crazy during the summer. They're like, yes, school is out. All our friends are out of school. I think they're happier than the kids that go to school. But the neighbors, they play with them from sunrise to sunset. They do have a few other friends in the village. We do have other homeschooling families during the year. So here we don't have that many, but we still have a few friends here and there. I don't know, maybe a bunch of 10 different kids that we see on a regular basis. We do go to parks in the summer. In the summer, we actually don't have enough time to socialize because everyone is available. I mean, we're gonna have friends everywhere we go, especially we're in a small, not village but small town,
Yeah, but
so
you,
we
you
just
guys are
have to,
5.
yeah. And they do, but sometimes they're like, "Meh." Sometimes like, well, you can stay with us and like enjoy your time with me and your brothers and sister. And I'm like, we're
Well, it's true.
boring.
You see them, they see each other every single day.
Yeah,
So I'm sure at
but
one point they do need to go,
yeah,
but they do
but
socialize more during the summer.
yeah, but they do a lot still during the week. We do see a lot of family, so in the weekends we do see all the cousins. And yeah, so during the week it varies from extracurricular activities to other homeschooling kids. and the weekends with family and friends that go to school.
So that answers pretty much the question. They do
Yeah,
socialize.
but between them, they do see each other a lot, and they do get bored, but they do get along really, really, really well. Like better than most of the kids I know, because they have this sibling rivalry, but they also have this sibling best friend thing going on that is like they they are always together, so they have to get along, and they
That's nice.
play. Yeah,
I
that's really
can't get
nice.
mine to get along at all. Like I have to play the police every minute or so.
Yeah,
But
I do
um,
sometimes, but it's not that bad.
Ren says every one of my subscribers is getting a free T-shirt.
Woohoo!
Hmm. Free T-shirt is always fun. Thanks, Remy. I didn't see it that you wrote it down. Okay, so now question time.
Yeah.
Why do you feel it's important to include your kids in the garden?
Oh, where to start?
Have fun.
Well, for well, for I'm gonna start with more the basic side, which is I think every child needs to know where their food comes from, and that it's the base. I think this should be taught as the first thing for every single child, how to grow, how to feed yourself.
You
We
mean in preschool, like in grade 1,
do,
2, 3?
yeah, any, I mean, I don't, they spend like what 12, 15 years in school to learn, to eventually get a job, to have money and then feed themselves. But I think first
Yeah,
off,
it should be the other way around. You should learn the basics of life,
yeah,
feeding
so,
yourself.
and I mean it is so important to know the circle of life, to know how to garden, to be able to feed yourself, like I said. But also it's such a base, the baseline for, I don't know, we try to teach our kids to not waste, to take care of our earth, but this all ends up to be it's learned so easily in the garden, these principles. I mean, we don't want to throw our garbage on the ground, because we don't want to pollute our ground, because we're gonna eat from that ground, you know.
True.
So I that's like the circle of life, and the circle of how to take care of your planet or and your environment. To me, is really, really important.
So by teaching them young not to take the ground as garbage, as an adult, they probably will treat Earth with much more respect than an adult that was brought up by just throwing everything in the garbage and a bit in the recycle bin, not really knowing. And now that they're adults, they have no idea really what they're doing, because they're taught from a very young age that garbage is garbage and recycling is recycling. There's no composting. There's no respect
Yeah.
of the earth.
Well, I mean, it's not a guarantee that it's going to end up like that, but I think it's really a good place to start. And they can grow up and don't want to do anything with gardening ever again once they leave this house, but they will be able to do it if they want to.
Yeah,
They're
but
coming from the bat.
let's just say they're not interested in growing their food. They're not interested at all. They will have as much respect.
Yeah.
They don't need to grow food, but they know where it comes from, and they'll have much more respect of their food.
Exactly. We don't have chickens yet, and I was on Ben Cummings' channel a few weeks ago, and that's one of the things I was telling him, is that I don't want to. Yeah, I'm sorry. They want to see mom.
It's okay.
I don't want to slaughter my chickens, but I'm thinking you grow some sort of respect when you do
Yeah.
it yourself. You don't want to waste. I mean, I'm saying that, and I just remember that I have a chicken broth that I'm not sure it's good because I forgot it this morning on the on the on the
On the
stove.
counter.
But but I mean, right now it's just like, but I mean, if it was my chickens and if it's the food you grow and that you harvested yourself, I mean, the peppers out there, I mean, it's been months that I started those seeds, I mean, and they grew there, and I spent so many hours on them, so I don't want to waste these peppers, and my kids are gonna see that, and even if they don't grow it themselves, they can have an idea of
Yeah.
what is involved in growing it.
I raise my own meat birds,
Mm-hmm.
and like I do during the week, I'm the one that's responsible for them. During the weekend, my husband is responsible for them. He cleans and sanitizes the area, and he's the one that harvests. And part of the processing, I help, but like the harvest part is mainly him. I can tell you that we don't waste much. There's still things
Yeah.
that like we could eat or we could like do something with it, but like I try to waste as little as possible. And when I cook food and I see my son like leaving a little bit in his plate, I take that thing back and I put it in the
Yeah.
Tupperware that goes in the fridge. I don't throw it out because
Yeah.
I went every single day, and if one is sick, I'm the one that takes care of it. If one of them dies, I'm the one that disposes of it. If one of them is thirsty or hungry, I go to see them like between 2 to 5 times a day. So if one of my kids throws something out, I kind of go like, "Oh my god!" It was like it
Yeah.
was my time. So I have much more respect about that. Also, I find that our children are now exposed to life and
Mm-hmm.
loss.
Yeah.
So they understand that the meat that they're eating once was alive. And
Mm-hmm.
when they are harvested, we have to understand that their sacrifice is our blessing. And that's why you can't waste food.
No, exactly.
But
But it's
it also applies to your garden.
exactly, it's the same process. I mean, when you spend months growing something, and I mean, especially with the, I don't know for you, but I mean, for me, the kids are so involved in the garden and they like to go see and check if everything is growing and stuff. But they are aware how long it is. They find it so long, especially right now. I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
it's been a
they
while.
love going in the garden for snacking.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, it's a little bit sad how disconnected we've become by buying stuff in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So I think this is really a blessing to have the kids witness that when they tasted the first snap peas.
Oh
I
my god, it
mean,
tastes so nice.
yeah, but I mean, it's been over a week that we've had these first, and now they want the next ones, and I mean,
Uh-huh.
they're gonna fight over the next ones. So I mean, they also, that's another part. I mean, they also learn to eat healthy foods, and they actually eat. I find that they eat more of it. I mean, the kale I grew, the salad I grew, the tatsoi, etc., the celery. I mean, they eat it all. They won't eat the one I buy from the grocery store because who cares? But this is the one they sow the seeds like a month ago, 2 months ago, and they saw grow and they transplanted with me and they know where it's coming from. And I mean, there's no way they're gonna not even try it. I mean, that's how it works in my house. And another part, this is like, I think this is good for any child, but considering everything I said earlier with unschooling, for me, it's really a big part of their general education. They have the education of everything we just mentioned, but they do learn a lot of reading and maths and things like that. When we try to see how many seeds we need to fill a bed with tomatoes or lettuce or both or whatever, they
It's
need
true.
to,
There's so much math involved.
yeah, I mean, but it's so basic for us that we forget about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, when you have a 4 by 8, you're like, yeah, it's 32 feet, blah blah blah, and you're okay. So I can plan, this many, and you don't think about it. It's
No.
just basic maths for us. But we had to do this stuff when we were kids, and to practice it for it to be
Yeah.
super easy. So they have to do it with me, and they do the plans with me. So that's for us. It's a major part of their learning experience.
Yeah.
Uh,
In school
with
for us, it was tables like
Yeah,
table of one, table
exactly.
of two,
But
table of three, and
I would
it was by heart.
I would show this to my kids, and they would be like, but if we do plan a garden, might take a little longer, but they will end up learning how to do it, and why to do it, and how to actually do it. I mean, someone had to explain to me why I needed to learn that in school,
Yeah.
and I was like, who cares? Who cares if I know what 4 by 8, 4 times 8 does? I was like, I'm never gonna use that in my life. But turns out we do. But
We do. We do. Math
it's
is, I try to tell my kids, the base of life is you have to learn how to read. It doesn't matter if you can't read fast, because as long as you can read,
yeah,
and if you can't understand, there's a dictionary, and now they have Google. So, and there's a
yeah,
translation dictionary, and if they don't have a translation dictionary, they have Google Translate. So
hmm
that's super easy. And then the second part of life is understanding the basic math, like the plus, the multiplies, and the
yeah,
divisions. And once you understand the base of that, you can go very far.
hmm exactly. You can do so many things. You can do all the do-it-yourself stuff. You can do it all.
In school, I was horrible in French and math. Like,
Mhm.
I passed. Like, I never failed a year, but like at school for us, it was by heart. Everything was by heart.
Yeah,
So my skull was full of the stuff. And then as soon as the exam was done, it was like Control Alt Delete, and I
exactly,
only
exactly.
memorized what was important. But today, if someone talks to me about a tomato variety or a pepper variety, I read it maybe 2-3 times, read about it, talked about it, exchanged about it, and then implemented it in my garden. I
Yeah,
remember it much more
yeah,
than those tables that I had to do like by heart. So, but
yeah.
I'm an adult.
Because yeah, but
I
yeah, but I mean, my kids know all the Pokemons, and
no, but what I'm saying is that
so,
their brain works faster than ours. Like
yeah,
it's a muscle
yeah,
for them. Like, and since you're
yeah.
unschooling them, they don't have like the by heart that we did. So
No,
they can only they take everything in.
yeah,
They don't put anything out. When I was in
and
school, I was putting everything out and then in and then out. So I didn't really.
there's a part of I'm sorry, I know it's not a solely homeschooling,
Don't worry.
but there's a part that we grew up. Yeah, they eat a lot more stuff. Yeah, it's really a hard thing to do, to change your view on homeschooling, but once it's done, I think there's no way back. But we grew up going to school, and I don't know for you guys, but for me school was like so boring. I mean, you do see, like, you watch stuff like The Simpsons, and like Bart doesn't want to learn stuff because he hates school so much. He just doesn't want to actually learn stuff. And um, you were bad in math. You were bad in French. I was bad in math. I hated whatever. But my kids don't have these things. They don't um, associate like learning with boring, and like math with boring, or they don't even know they're
It's
doing
true.
math. I mean, they don't.
I never made the association.
Yeah,
It's
I
something
mean,
that's
sometimes people will ask them, so do you like maths, and they're like,
uh-uh.
what the hell is maths? I mean, if I like to count things, I mean, I don't care. I just count when I need to count. So it's like this. I see this with the kids, that there's this big association learning
And fun.
subjects that are just non-existent. It's just part of life, and they're just like, when I
So
need to do that, I do it. I don't care. I don't.
what do you think, what like the as benefit, like do you think it makes them more patient, more
No.
aware?
uh I think it does make them. You mean gardening, or?
Yeah, well, being on the homestead, gardening, and like learning
I think it's
from life.
actually a good patience, a good practice for their patients. That's for sure. My kids are not really patient. Well, I can't really compare, but I mean, I find them impatient. I do feel that we live in a society with so much like instant gratification. So this is another thing that I feel that is important in the garden, that to learn about delayed gratification, that when
What
you
does that
need,
mean?
when instant gratification you
Oh,
have
instant gratification.
yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry,
No
sometimes
worries. I heard a word that was far from that.
um so I think it's the best thing to learn about delayed gratification, the garden. So I feel that it does, but I mean, they are still surrounded by everything in their environment that is just like instant. So
It's funny you say that. I was actually going with an idea of a vlog in my garden about how we were all taught that everything has to be done like that.
yeah,
So you start a house, it has to be finished that same day.
yeah,
Or you start a garden, it has to be finished that same day. We're raised that way. Our parents were
hmm,
raised that way.
yeah,
And
where we have
now,
no patience.
as a homesteader, I see all these homesteader after 5 to 10 years starting to have this infrastructure that I want. And I'm like, I'm only 5 years in. I have to learn
Yeah.
to be patient. And this is like, I need to like unprogram this in myself. And it's hard because it's been
Hmm.
like, it's in my head that it has to happen now
Yeah.
and
And
fast.
this is actually a lesson today, was something I had to talk myself to myself about, because we were doing the bed. We could do the bed, or we could do the bed well. I mean, we could have
Mhm.
done the same thing in a day, but we decided to just like sably
Sand.
sand, yeah, to sand everything well, and to paint everything, and to let it dry well, and to paint every corner of it, and to put some finishing on it. I mean, it does take a lot of time, and
If you
I'm
want to
getting
do
really
it,
impatient. But
you have to
we
do it the
decided,
right way.
yeah. And I mean, when we're gonna, I mean, I would have been, everything would have been fine if we just did it like as fast as we could. And but when we're gonna be done, and especially since it's a more a family project,
Hmm.
when we're gonna be done, when it's gonna be done well, we're gonna be very happy about it.
Hmm.
And the kids will grab people by their hand and come and
Look,
see
look,
the
look,
bed
look.
we had to, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna be much prouder about it, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
much nicer, and it's gonna last longer too. So I do need to learn that too. So the garden is like the perfect thing to learn that. I feel it's the perfect tool to, how can I say, to remind you that even if you're in 2022, food doesn't grow faster. You need to be patient to,
Hmm.
I mean, everything is, we can, I can, I mean, it's crazy. I can order something from China and receive it faster than have a tomato grow on the vine.
Well,
So,
we're so used to having
mhm.
everything. Like um in the winter months, in the colder months, I only buy root vegetables. I don't buy peppers. Okay, occasionally I buy cucumbers because I have young kids and they're kind of sick and tired of carrots and celery.
You need to have them eat something, so you need
Yeah,
cucumber.
so like, and they're not that expensive compared to peppers. So, I kind of do exceptions. And bananas, obviously, I can't grow bananas, so I buy bananas.
Yeah.
But Other than that, during the colder months, it's root vegetables, cabbages, bananas, and cucumbers. And the kids, when they see peppers in the garden, they're like, "Mama, there's peppers in the garden!" And they're not even like mature size yet. Like, you know, those
Mhm.
banana peppers, they're usually like this long.
Yeah.
They're not even like formed, and they want to
Yeah,
eat
but
it.
we're having the same thing with carrots right now. The carrots in the greenhouse are, these tiny carrots that taste good, but they're just like,
Yeah.
so they're like, can I pull one? But when they pull one, they need to pull five. They all want one. So I'm like, I mean, we don't have that many of them. I suck at growing carrots, but so they take some, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to wait for bigger ones. And like the next day, can I? No, longer
You
than
have
that,
to wait.
like a
What
few
I
weeks.
do, I kind of do like a mix of that. I densely sow my carrots, and when I thin them, let's just say my variety is 70 days. I thin mine like around 30-ish days. And since they're densely sown, instead of being mature in 70 days, they're probably going to take 90 days. But when I thin them, I have like these little baby carrots. And those are the ones that I give to my kids. So instead of wasting seeds and like putting like time consuming, like one seed there, one seed there, one seed there, well, I kind of like, since I densely sow, I thin and I give them those. And I tell them, you can't pick all of them because we still need, the longer ones so that we can store
Mhm.
them for the colder months, because I want to stop buying carrots at the store because they don't taste as nice
No.
as the one that you grow at your house. That part I'm still working on. Like when I thin, they're like, is it time? So they understood with the carrots, but there's something I want to try next year is the Mallory from Quebec Homestead did that with
Yeah, I
cornstarch.
tried.
It didn't
I
work.
I I'm
Well, you
just
need
too
to
bad
water
with
your
carrots.
carrots.
Yeah, I we had rain every single day for the past month. So
Oh, yeah, that's not
we
good. For carrots, that's not
yeah,
good. The seeds are going to rot.
but it's not that bad. It's really like gentle rain, but
Okay.
enough rain to have people complain about rain. I'm just happy about it because I
Don't have to
like
water your garden.
working. Yeah, and I like working in the rain. There's nothing. There's no bees. There's no mosquitoes. There's nothing. So I
Well,
like
it
working
depends.
out
If
in
it's
the.
downpouring and you can take a
Yeah,
shower, there's limits. But if it's like sprinkling, I don't mind, especially if
yeah,
it's hot,
yeah.
because it brings
But
the
it's not
temperature
hot.
down. Well, no, obviously. Well, I'm having a cool summer.
Yeah, we didn't have a single night over 15. I'm
Last night here was 18.
yeah.
The 2nd of July. That's crazy. Normally it's like over 20. So I don't
Really,
think it's going to be a good pepper year.
I don't think either. We do have terrible nights. I mean,
I
it's
think that
around
next
10,
year
12.
I'm going to have to do a closed tunnel for my peppers,
Mm-hmm.
like an actual tunnel closed, no side open, and just put peppers there
Well,
cuz
I'm thinking about putting more peppers in the greenhouse right now because I mean, but the ones I have outside are actually flowering and having peppers on it. But
instant gratification is an illusion.
exactly.
You either take the time to do it yourself or pay the work for someone else already did. Yeah, but in that same thing, after when the baby boomers were adults, the big American dream was very present. So you had someone cutting your lawn, you had someone cleaning your house, you had someone doing your laundry, someone doing this for you, someone doing that for you. And all you had to do is go to work. And
Mhm.
some of them didn't even take care of their kids. So everything was there. They wanted something, all they had to do was that. So it's an illusion, because if you lose all your money and the next day you have to walk to work, you have to do your laundry, you have to take care of your garden, you have to take care of everything,
And
it's going to be totally different.
even if you can forever pay for it, I mean, of course, it can depend on people. So I'm watching my words, but I do think it applies to almost anyone. You can't. I don't think you can be happy when you don't do ever anything hard and anything gratifying, and the instant gratification is like you both
Well,
said, an illusion, because you're happy right now, you have your dopamine rush, and then it's over. You're not going to bed, oh, I'm so happy because I received this packet from Amazon. I feel so fulfilled. I
yeah,
mean,
but
you
then
don't.
it's gonna take you more than one package a
Yeah,
day to get that
but
dopamine.
even
And
then, even if you receive like a 12 packages, 20 packages in the day, you're going to be like, oh, nice. Oh, nice. And you're not going to go to bed and feel like, what a great day. I unpacked 30 boxes from stuff I bought on Amazon. I mean, you're never going to do that.
mm-mm.
But if you go in the garden and you harvested, like, I don't know, 50 pounds of tomatoes, and you processed it all, and you're so worn out from working in the kitchen, and your hands smell like tomatoes, and you did can like a whole day of tomatoes, you're gonna go to bed and feel like, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, and the next day you're gonna wake up and open your pantry and be like, yeah, I have tomatoes there and I feel so great about it.
Well, it's
That's
hard to
what I think.
explain. It's hard to explain
Yeah,
because when you talk about what we do in the choices we do, we kind of look like the odd one. We
yeah.
always look like the odd one, but we're not, because we work as much as them,
Hmm.
if not
Yeah.
more.
And I mean, anyone that actually, and I mean, that's for homesteading, but that can be for artists or, um, yeah, and, or, yeah, exactly. Remy's right on that thing, is that we do right now have the gratification that, man, I have the garden there. I can't harvest it yet, but I mean, prices are going up so bad. And I'm like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I had to do something about it
Yeah.
before it happened. And I'm right now, I'm like, yeah, I can be the one that can feed my family
Yeah.
for cheap.
I went
And
to the grocery. I think it was on Thursday. I had 2 grocery bags. You know those IGA grocery bags?
yeah,
2 grocery bags. And I had like, I think on the side, I had a pack of yogurt for lunch. Like I maybe had the equivalent of two and a half, $200.
yeah, it's
I
$100
normally
a bag.
have, I normally have $200. I had a cart full.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about like pizzas and chips
Yeah,
and like bad stuff. Like I'm talking fruit, vegetables, and like snacks and stuff that I need for school, like lunches. And I don't
yeah.
even buy meat. I don't buy meat at the grocery store. I only buy lunch meat. That's it.
But it's like $12 a package. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally $100 for a bag. I did last Tuesday. I did grocery, a small grocery, 3 bags, 3 maxi. Maxi is like really
It's small.
cheaper than, and I did have like those 30% off and extra. It cost me $300. I had 3 bags. I
It's
mean,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. But I mean,
By teaching our kids to grow their own food, we're kind of giving them the tools if ever this goes on.
yeah, and to be free. I
Well, we
mean,
can't be completely free because
can't
of our,
know, but I mean,
but we
this
can be on certain things.
and when you know how to process your food, how to grow your food, how to build stuff, how to repair stuff, how to be a little more self-sufficient, you're not stuck at a low-paying, terrible job that you just want to cry each morning because you don't want to go there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you do have some bills to pay, but you're less stuck when you learned to not rely on instant gratification, and when
Mm-hmm.
you can somehow survive by yourself.
Or well, almost, because we do.
Almost, yeah.
I can't have flour. I will never be able to have enough Like I can't
No,
grow
of course, but I
a wheat,
mean,
but like then you can buy bulk, and by buying in
yeah,
bulk
but I
can
mean,
make a difference.
when you can buy a huge a huge bag of flour and do actually some stuff with it,
Yeah.
you're in a way you're a lot freer than the one that really has to buy the bread and the pastas and like everything like for so much more with full of crap in it.
Another thing you mentioned to me is you're preserving your food.
Yeah,
You'll be
some
pressure
yeah.
canning and water bathing.
Yeah, I will be canning and and water canning. I didn't start yet. I do have everything I need. And the thing is, I know you're scared about your pressure canner. I'm not. I bought
Yeah, you bought the
yeah,
electric Presto.
the non-scary one.
Yeah. Well,
But it's just a
I
matter of cost right now. I don't know what to try in it first. I knew I could
broth.
just try water. Yeah.
Just do broth. That's the first thing I did.
Yeah.
I emptied all my freezers of broth and like carcasses. And I canned 2 batches of broth, 3 batches of broth, and I canned pork cubes.
Okay.
So I went like really, really easy recipes in like the ones that are basic. Broth, canned meat is like super easy.
Yeah, that's what I need to decide and like decide, okay, today or tomorrow I'm gonna do that and just try it out because I'm not really scared. It's just my kitchen's always a mess and I'm like, oh, I can't can today, my kitchen is a mess. So I always have
You
the
should.
excuse.
My
But I
kitchen is an epic chaos mess, hot
um
mess every day. But I'm like,
and
okay.
always,
No, well, I just before dinner, I clean everything, and then I cook dinner, and then like I have a sink full. And
and
just
then
before
you
the live,
clean.
I
Yeah.
emptied the dishwasher, and now my counter's full because
Yeah.
plastic doesn't dry in a um, dishwasher. And then everything I clean, like I had the instant pot and everything, like I have like this Mount Everest drawing.
I did have a this Mount Everest this morning, and you know what? My 4-year-old came and washed her hands over it with the paint.
Oh, it was clean.
It was clean.
Oh
I
my
just let it dry, and she just went with all.
god!
She did put her, like kids, not just a little bit of paint, like the
Oh,
complete like soaking pink hands and just like
mm.
all the doors with the marks. And then I arrive in the kitchen and there's just like paint all over my clean dishes.
Oh
Oh
my god.
no. Oh well.
Okay. We do not need flour to
No,
survive.
we don't. Yeah, that's a thing. You
But
listen to people and everyone's like, oh yeah, you can't be completely sustainable. And I'm like, yeah,
you could,
you
but you would
could.
have to
Yeah,
sacrifice many things.
exactly. I can't be completely sustainable if I still want to drink my coffee.
Oh,
I mean,
I will never be 100%.
yeah,
I
I mean,
need
but I
coffee.
mean,
I need
there's
coffee.
theory and there's practice. I mean, if a good bunch of homesteaders, if tomorrow every single store just burned to the ground, they would be able to survive. I mean, they
Of
would
course.
not be happy about it, but I mean, they would be able to survive with their meat, with their canned
Yeah.
goods, with their, and I mean, that's the thing. You can be sustainable, but I mean, in this day and age, we do have these tastes that we want some stuff. I mean, no matter how sustainable we ever get, if I can buy the occasional watermelon and the occasional pepper in the grocery store, I will do it. I mean,
But
during the
if I
winter,
don't
I mean,
have that option, I would live without it.
yeah, exactly. But we don't.
I've been thinking about what can I grow
Yeah,
to make a
exactly.
well-rounded diet. Is there anything I actually need that I can't grow?
So
Well,
it
it's
depends if
true.
we're in a survival state. I mean, we don't need flour, but we would actually need something that is really dense in calories, I think. like
Well,
beans and
there is what do you call it? Uh, Amaranth. You can grow amaranth, and those seed can be converted
okay,
into flour.
yeah,
And then there's what's the other one? Is it sorghum? No, it's not sorghum. It's there's another plant that looks like amaranth, and you can do flour out of it. But since we're so used to flour and the consistency of our bread and
yeah.
sourdough and stuff like that, I think I would do there's a channel that's in Canada, in Vancouver. I think it's called Loving Off the Land or something like that.
Living of the land,
No, Loving Off the Land.
loving. Okay, because
Something like that.
there's living of the land, which is pretty good.
I can't. It's either living or loving, either
Okay,
or. They're on the island. That's the one. Quinoa. That's the one I was looking for.
yeah, quinoa.
And what they're doing is they grow wheatgrass, and then they collect the grains, and I think they can do like maybe 1 to 5 loaf a year.
Yeah, it's insane the amount you need if you want
Yeah,
to.
so depending of how much space they have, and they ground it themselves, so it's like they maybe have maximum 5 loaves a year. So if I had to go survival mode, like only grow, like this channel is specifically they only eat what they grow.
Okay,
So they have no sugar, they have no molasses, no flour, no they live next to the ocean, so they probably have their own salt. It's Loving Off the Land.
okay,
I was close.
living of the land. Okay,
And like they have during the colder months is like mainly proteins, and they collect seeds to do sprouting seeds, so they can have like something else than meat. And then during the season they harvest food and they process their own food, so it's basically they're doing it. So if Ecocentric, I can't remember your first name, I'm sorry, if you want to get ideas, that channel does that. Like that's all what it's about.
yeah, because of course that we don't need flour. I just think it's really a good base.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you can't grow everything and you need the calories and some. But I mean, yeah, as an adult, I don't think I could. I think we could easily live without flour, considering that I'm not picky. But if I want my kids to eat, I need some sort of stuff to put stuff on it. I mean,
yeah.
some bread to
Well,
put
because
like
we make
jam or
jams and jellies
yeah,
from like
that
flowers and fruits that's on the
yeah.
homestead. So
But
I find that
let's
a
call
piece,
it a really nice to have,
yeah,
but it's
it's
surely not needed.
no. I'm sure we can. I'm sure our. Well, I'm a one woman show. Like my kids go to school, and during the summer they're not very interested in the garden. They are interested in harvesting and snacking, but they're not really invested like I am. So I would not be able to grow wheat. Like even like on a small
Hmm.
scale for like maybe 1 loaf a week or 1 loaf a month, and have it like no sourdough, because sourdough you have to feed it all the time. And I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I would have to have employees, and it would become like a
Yeah,
commercial farm, and that's
it's
not what
really
I'm looking
a
for.
next level thing to grow your
Yeah.
flower,
So
to have your flower.
uh Jotam. I'll try to remember it. If I don't remember it, I'm really sorry. Lots of ways to get sweeteners. Yes, this year I bought
Yeah,
myself 3 packs of sugar beets, and I hope I have enough. I'd like to have like at least a cup or two. I would love to to see how much 3 package will bring me. I cannot have honey. I do have about 2 to 3 liters of maple syrup that I make from the trees that I have here.
I can't have maple. That's the sad part. But we're gonna have honey eventually. But
Um,
we can't have maple here. It's too
it's too
cold.
cold. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
but
thought.
I mean, you can try. We do have sirop de bouleau. What's a bouleau in English?
Bark, birch.
Birch.
I think it's birch. I think it's birch.
I never heard that word ever in my life. Yeah, birch. We can have
Well,
this.
it's. I was told it's similar. tasting.
Yeah, I think it's really sweet. I just never saw. I don't think it's that good. I mean, I never tasted it. I know a lot of people that actually harvest a little bit here and there and for themselves, but we don't have anything that actually processes it. Or so I'm thinking maybe it's not that good if people don't make a business
Well, it's
out of
not
it.
known. It's not known.
Well,
Like
maybe I don't know.
in
But I
Alaska,
mean, if you could have birch,
a lot of people are just drinking as is, like, and it's
yeah. But
lightly,
maybe it's not that good at in a syrup. I don't know. I
maybe.
will need to try. I have hundreds of
I
them.
would love to have honeybees,
Yeah,
but
me too.
I can't. Like my neighbor sprays. They would die every year. So
That is actually a big dilemma in my life recently because my neighbors have honeybees. We do want honeybees, but we have so many wasps near the house. So I was thinking to find a way to get the wasps to to not come because they actually get in the house. They find the cracks they come in the house, and
ooh,
I'm
not good.
terrified of them.
Not
So
good.
and the kids too. Yeah, I'm not good. But if some people are in my situation, do you know what gets them away?
Well, without pesticides, I don't know. Because
Uh,
usually they kill the nest to get rid of them.
Irish Spring.
Our
You know the
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 soap.
barn. Yeah, I was in a Facebook group and talked about it. How I hated to want to grow everything organically and to not use any stuff. But my neighbors have bees, and but I have wasps and hornets, and they get in, and I just don't get
So
out because
so
they're
it's not
there, and I'm like,
salt you
oh,
put all over your property to protect yourself.
well,
It's soap.
yeah. But someone said they're supposed to hate Irish Spring scent, so I did buy some Irish Spring. I grated some. I mixed it with water and sprayed it all over the porch, and I did not see a single hornet since I did that.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm like, wow. So I'm carrying Irish Spring in my pocket. You know, they would not bother me if they would not come like then like
I started having
you know ah
I started seeing more and more last year because I have an apple tree and I have like this weird. It's like it's not purple, it's not blue, but it's like metallic, and they're
okay.
getting big. So I don't know if it's a hornet or a wasp, but they're not bees. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go to the Dollarama, get
Yeah,
myself some
try it
Irish
out.
Spring. Um. Well, the worst part is my neighbor sprays for spiders.
Yeah, that sucks.
But like I called the city and I wanted to know if it was legal because he did not come and knock on my door to tell me to put my animals in. Like he just sprays. And the guy that sprays is like right next to my animals and he's in a full suit with a mask. So I called the town. I asked him pesticides are illegal. And I'm like, why is he allowed to do that? Well, they're not considered pesticides. It's not good, but it's not illegal. So I'm like, let me get this straight. We're on the brink of like extinction of bees, and you're still allowed to spray stuff that can potentially kill all the bees, like in the area. But this year,
Yeah.
ironically, usually he sprayed, but this year he hasn't. So we'll
Maybe
see.
he got a
Maybe he got like a
did
hint that when
did he mow his lawn in May?
No, I was so pissed at him. He mowed all his lawn, and I was like, and I was like doing this like bitch mode. Sorry, and my husband comes and he's like, look, there's like this huge patch of dandelions. So it's like a condo unit. So the front part of the unit was clean cut. The side parts was clean cut, but in the back where the shed were, like there's like a shed and there's no balconies there. There was like 100 feet long
He left a
by
little bit.
20 feet deep of dandelion. My neighbor's gonna kill him next year because like all the seeds went to him. But anyways, so he did that. So maybe he got the message that by doing that, he was killing the bees. So we'll see. So if I have like 2-3 years without him spraying, I might get honeybees. I would love it.
Or if you have enough flowers, maybe your bees would not go past or as much past your own.
Maybe. Yeah, but I only have
Yeah.
15,000 square feet.
Yeah. I
It's
don't
not
know.
that much. I think it's 30,000 square feet to be safe. But anyway.
I just saw the little.
Yeah,
the
I
little-
saw someone pass behind you. Like, what does that? What is that?
It's my
So
4-year-old.
Joanne says, I wasn't impressed with the taste. Plus, it takes so much sap to make a little syrup. It's true. It
Yeah,
takes
maybe it's not.
40 liters to make 1 liter of like maple sap, like of maple syrup. So it's 40 to 1. So if it's the same thing, you burn a lot of gas.
Yeah.
I'm always off subject. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we were just so off subject from.
So I talked about processing. Will you be including your kids?
Well, when I learn it, no, not like my first few batches of like hot water bath
You've never water bath?
batches. I did a few times, like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay,
But
so like you're almost brand
it's-
new to water bathing.
Yeah, and I just got rid of all my stuff, and now I had to buy it all back. So I'm thinking I need to learn it properly, especially if I don't want anyone to get hurt. And
True.
that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, I can get my older ones involved, but not the young ones. I mean, it's dangerous.
For preserving, I find it's a little bit touchy because if I'm not concentrated 100%, I can mess it up, and then there could be consequences on us.
Exactly.
So since I'm still brand new to pressure canning, I do not include them at all because I don't want to make a mistake, especially with the pressure canner, because like you're using the pressure canner to safely can food that's low acid. So if you mess it up, there's consequences. As for water bathing, I will include, if they want, cutting, chopping, cooking, and then once that is done, since there's boiling water involved and sometimes there's overflow of boiling bubbles, that's when I draw the line and I say you're a bit too small. But if they want to participate in cutting and doing all that,
exactly. That's pretty much how I'm thinking too, because they do like to cut and stuff like that, and they're getting good at it. That's the nice part. I mean,
my son at day camp last week, there's a lady that comes and teach them how to cut cucumbers, carrots. I forgot that there's 3 vegetables. I forgot. And as soon as he came home, and also he made a dip, for not a salad dressing, a dip for vegetables. So he came back home, and since that day, he knows how to cut with a small knife. Those little tiny knives for kids.
Yeah,
they're I think they're about this long, so they can't really hurt themselves unless they don't do it properly. And he now knows how to remove the skin off a cucumber.
Yeah.
I don't know, a peeler. They now know how to use a peeler. So he wants to participate in chopping and removing skin off a vegetable since he did that. And he does that, I think, once a week or once every 2 weeks this summer. So if he learns really good, he's going to be able to help me with salsas and the blender and
it's nice to that's why I think it's nice to really start young, because that's the thing with my kids, my oldest kids. I mean, we always laugh saying how everything is so much efficient when we have help, because everything takes 3 to 4 times longer with the kids. But I mean, when my 4-year-old tries to help, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I mean, I really need to talk to myself, especially when you have your headphones on in and you're listening to something, and you're like, oh, it's a bit steady. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. But
I think it's a learning curve for you as a mom.
Yeah.
And a learning curve for them.
But my 2 oldest, I mean, they're getting good. I've been doing that with them for years, and with so much stuff, even in the garden, I can trust them to transplant a tomato plant without me being next to them. So it's starting to pay off actually. To
Nice.
Because I mean, right now they don't always want to do it, but when they do, they actually do it right. And next, same thing with cooking. My oldest one, she's 9, and she can actually follow a recipe, and
Nice.
I can mostly trust her.
I like that. Mostly.
Yeah, because there's a few things here and there. Like last time she tried to bake a cake, and she put the oven at 180, but it was 180
Celsius.
Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. But I mean, how could she know that? I mean, some adults don't know like that there's
Well,
two types of
we
temperature.
know because when we follow American recipes or
Yeah.
European recipes, you have 350 Fahrenheit dash Celsius.
Exactly.
So she was probably reading a European recipe.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the kind of mistakes she does. She doesn't like. She doesn't
Well, at least she didn't confuse salt for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it's really an investment in itself, because when they want to help me, the two older ones, they actually do. And I did buy these. You have these wooden knives that are really for small kids, which are
Really?
a pain in the butt. Yeah, they're fine, but it's just like it separates. You have to pre-cut, like let's say a pepper slice. You just put, and they can cut it in a few.
Yeah, but they start small and then they get a bigger
Yeah,
knife. And
but my
then...
older ones, they do have these. They are real knives. They cut almost as much as my big knife, but they're made small and with a small hole to put your finger in it. And
so that they don't cut their that part of their finger.
Yeah, and they actually learn to hold it the right way, and they do have
protection for the fingers.
Yeah, and it actually teaches them to hold their other hands properly.
You need to send me those pictures.
Oh yeah, I will. It's really so nice, because at first they're like, eventually they learn to use them both, and eventually the protection just goes.
Because I'm always scared with knives. Like I want them to help, but as soon as it involves a knife, with my youngest 5-year-old and running around and like
this would be really nice, because now because now I trust them with a big knife, my big knife. They can
that
cut,
would help me a lot if I can have like my mind will never be 100% at ease, but if it
never.
can like if the chaos can like dodge
they're gonna be 30 and you're gonna be like, oh, careful with that knife.
yeah so if like the chaos in my mind and on the table could go down just a couple of notches, and it would make like me more comfortable for them to participate, because we didn't have that when we were young, and like I chopped off parts of my fingers when I was learning how to cook, so I don't want them to have to deal with that.
Yeah, and they actually it's really also a nice way to learn about teamwork, because sometimes once in a while I'm like, no, I just want to do it by myself, just don't help me, I don't want help, I just want just leave me alone.
Well, we do need our time, like you have your kids 24/7 with you.
Yeah, but sometimes you have those meals that are just chaos, like I don't know, hamburgers. Yeah.
Danielle, just give me a second. I have a kid knocking on my door. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Attends.
Il n'y a pas de serviette.
Oui, un instant.
Dites courir vite. He could run really, really fast, so he would dry. Qu'est-ce que tu fais, toi? Tiens, derrière. Il dit bonjour. Si bonjour?
Bonjour. So sorry.
It's fine. Okay.
Hi.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My daughter was out of the shower. She needed a towel, and she had to have mom.
Yeah, of course. Dad
of course. Do anything. Dad's downstairs, but mom's right next to the shower.
Yeah. So yeah, you have these meals where it just never ends to prepare everything, and
Mhm.
nothing is ready at the same time. You have like brunches, and last time what I'm thinking about is hamburgers, because last week I made hamburgers, and I have my meat that's almost ready. I have to put I was it was not outside, it was inside. So we have the bread in the toaster, and I need to put the cheese so it melts, and then you have to put everything on the table without having the babies going on the table and like spill some ketchup everywhere. So the kids wanted to help me, and I
I'm
was like,
laughing, but it's not funny.
yeah, I mean, that's how it is. And they wanted to help me. I was like, no, it's already like super chaotic. But I was like, sure, you can do toasts. So my son was doing the toasts, putting butter on the toasts. My daughter was cutting the tomatoes, and I mean, it was so smooth. I was like, why on earth did I never think about that? I mean, the other one was putting fries in the plates, and I mean, everything was super smooth, even if they were kids, because
Oh, that
they're
I would love. I would love. Like, but as soon as I involve one, the two others want to
they all,
participate.
yeah,
So okay, I'm like
that's
okay.
the problem.
So like the one that helps me is mainly Philip or mainly Emilia, like my two oldest, and it sort of goes okay. As soon as there's more than one, chaos breaks loose.
Yeah,
So I never tend to implicate the three of them, but I would love it. Like I didn't have that growing up. Like my mom would bake, cook all on her own, and we were never included in the
yeah.
kitchen. I I did some meals with her. Les tourtières. Every
Mm-hmm.
year we used to do meat pies every year. Creton, we did that every year. Egg rolls, we did that every year. Like that, we had like specialty meals that we did in bulk. I was included. But like a normal meal during the week, I would never help my mom. I would set the table. And that's something I
Yeah,
would really, really want because, like, when I started doing homesteading, I had this maybe I'm having it wrong,
you
but I
have your
had
friends.
this vision of a family on a farm cooking together. Not like chaos free, but like something around those lines. But like,
Yeah,
I can't do that. So if I can find some
well,
tools to help me, like those knives, I'm going to
it's
start with
gonna
that.
happen eventually.
I
Eventually,
hope so.
eventually, your oldest one will always be some help,
I hope
and
so.
he won't be able. He won't
It's
be.
she. My eldest is
Sorry.
Emilia.
So she won't need as much management, and the second one too. And I mean, they all grew up. I mean,
I hope so. I like
each year it gets a little easier each year.
I like that a little.
Yeah.
I had like three more questions for you, but I
Yeah.
wanted to give a chance to the viewers if they wanted to add something, if they feel what like the benefits of having kids implicate on the homestead in the garden, if they want to share something or on anything we talked about. Oh, Annie's here from Mama Homemade, another French channel. My
Yeah.
kids help me sometimes if they want. I don't force them. At the same time, they all have their own tasks to do.
Yeah. Well, that's
Chef.
kind of the same for me. They have to do stuff because, I'm such a terrible mom.
Oh yeah.
I just need to like
Yeah.
make them do stuff like,
Oh, I
oh my
feel you. I'm
God.
a terrible mom. I asked my daughter on Monday to Friday to go open the door for the chickens and feed them and put like clean out their water and add fresh water. I'm such a bad mom.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
call the
asked my
DPG.
yeah, I asked my son, and this I probably ain't gonna get like those eyes, like those rolling eyes. I asked my son to pass the broom in the kitchen and in the what do you call it? A diner room in the living room. You know, like there's like a circle in our house, like we always
Mhm.
go around. And I ask him like to like roughly pass the broom. I'm such a bad mom.
Oh, that's and you always have these like you're the horrible mom to ask for it, but when the other one takes the broom to do it, well, I wanted to do it, and you're
Oh,
like, now
of
you're
course.
stuck Right.
I think I'm gonna have to go to the dollar store and get them like colorful, cute brooms, and I think it would
Yeah.
work if I ask them. If I ask my daughter to do the kitchen, my son do the where we eat, uh, dining room, and my
Dining room.
youngest the seating area where the TV is. I'm sure. Okay, it's not gonna be like I do it, but I'm sure they're gonna do most of it. And if I ask them to do it like once
Yeah.
or like during the summer, I know it might be overboard, but since like we go in the chicken coop, we go into the house, and some of my kids don't take off their shoes, I have to pass the broom almost every single day.
Yeah.
So if they do that like once a day, 5 minutes, they each have like 5, 7 minutes because they're kids. More than 5, 10 minutes, like I can't ask them more than that. Instead of passing the broom every single day, I might be able to do it like maybe once or twice a week. So it's
Yeah.
saving me time and teaching them a life lesson.
And the more they do it, the better they're gonna get at it. And if they expect it, they are. I mean, my kids always have to pick up everything in the main living areas each night after lunch, before they do anything, before they go play with the neighbors, before they watch their shows, before they play a video game, blah blah blah. And now they kind of expect it. And I mean, they do whine about it, but I mean, they get it now. I just have to do it. If I don't do it, I'm not gonna do anything. I
I told
mean,
like my daughter says it's not fun. I don't want to do it. Well, I'm like I clean, like I wash
I'm
dishes.
like, whose
I
dishes
wash
am
your
I cleaning
clothes.
right now?
I hate it. Like I hate doing dishes, but I have to do it. Like I'm the one
Yeah,
that cooks and preserves and is in the kitchen. So obviously the kitchen cleaning is on me. But I prefer doing the food than
yeah,
cleaning the kitchen. Like if like
yeah.
I can't choose.
Imagine.
The both of them goes together. So you need to teach your kids that
Yeah.
there's not only fun, there's also responsibilities.
And see, Remy's 8-year-old wants to do his own laundry, and that's another thing. I mean, my kids sometimes want to do their own laundry, and I'm like, sure, go ahead. I mean, I'm not, but you need to do it all, though. I don't want
Yeah,
to have your clothes in the washing machine for a week,
yeah,
and like you get mad because I put it in the dryer because it's been there for days, and
yep,
that is.
yep.
I
It's
mean,
it's the it's all or nothing.
yeah, and like ecocentric said, not everything in life is fun.
Yes.
And I mean, when they tell me like they didn't like, because we do that, I understand the injustice in it, because in my house we have the two babies that make so many messes. But I mean, they're 2 year olds, and I try to have them clean, like pick up their stuff, but they're 2 year olds, and I don't have the patience to be next to them for a half an hour to have them pick and have a game. And no, I mean, eventually someone's gotta do it. And
Yeah.
I'm washing your dishes, I'm cleaning your clothes. I don't want to sit in my couch when you guys go to bed and have a huge mess to watch.
Yeah.
So you it's unfair. I know it's unfair, but I mean, it's not fair that I cook all your meals and that you don't eat them. Or I mean,
Well,
it's
instead
part
of
of life.
I try when my daughter says it's unfair, I try to tell her that no, it's not that it's unfair. It's just it's part of
Yeah,
the household. We are five living in this house. We are five dirtying clothes. We are five eating. We are five living here. So we need to divide tasks. So if I do it all, it's unfair to me. But by dividing the tasks, it becomes equal. Like everyone has something to do to have like, okay, I don't want a missionette house. Like that's not what I want.
no,
But I
you
want a
won't have it
house that's
anyway.
like decent. Like if someone comes here, like I don't want food on the floor, obviously, but I don't want someone to come here and expect my floors to be like freshly washed every single day. Because I'm a homesteader, like I don't have time to wash my floor every single day. But like, like a middle, like not too much, not nothing, like in the middle. So I try to teach my kids that, but I'm still working on
Yeah,
that. I
and see
like
for
what Dion
for
says.
yeah,
helps.
Yeah. But that's a thing I ask my kids sometimes. Can I help? I want to do that. And I'm like, no, not right now. And I want to help you. No, you don't want to help me. Do you want to help me? Like, really help me? Or do you want to do this? Because there's a difference. I won't pretend, with the oldest ones, I won't pretend you help me when you're actually just doing something you want to do and that it
Yeah,
doesn't help
it
me.
has to be something that really helps you, like
Yeah.
really helps you.
And often they're honest. Oh, I want to help. I really want to help you. And I'm like, okay, then if you want to help me, I need this to be done. And another thing that needs to be done, or play with your little brother or with your little sister.
I'm still
With,
working on
and
that one with my oldest.
yeah, well,
She
it's not
won.
always easy, but
No. Deanne says my oldest has to do pigs in the evening and my middle does chickens, but I am with them while they do it in our together time. Yeah. So like task connect, this is something I'm trying to make my husband understand. We can work, but we can also have it like a family time. Hello, Tracy. So let's just say that it's raspberry picking. Like right now, it's my black wild raspberries that's ready to be picked every day. Like I have about a cup every day that I can harvest. So I'm like, we can all go outside and have fun for 10 minutes, laugh, talk about what happened at day camp, at work, or if it's on the weekends, like we can ask our kids like what did they do with their friends, blah blah blah, and then 10 minutes later we can go light a fire. But instead of that, like I have to harvest for like half an hour and then the kids are running around everywhere and my husband's relaxing. You know, he works 60 hours a week, so I'm not complaining. But it would be fun if that 30 minutes would have been condensed into 10 and then we would be able to
yeah.
actually have a full half hour of family time. I'm still working on that one.
Well, I really like to put the focus on teamwork. Like, yeah, the kids want to naturally help and be a part of it, but that's uh, that's a good point in what I'm trying to say, because we're harvesting right now honey berries, camarilles.
Half caps.
No, I
They
think it's
look like blueberries, but long.
yeah. I like to say that they're teenagers.
I think they're half.
they're teenagers. Yeah,
I think they're
honey
half caps.
berries. Well,
They're half
I don't know
caps.
if they have two words, but what I'm harvesting seems to be like honeyberries,
Okay.
and of course it's super new right now, so they're like wow, and we're trying to collect enough to do
Jam.
no not a
Jelly.
crust. I almost I hate it when I can't find the word in French either.
Is it pie?
No, it's crumble.
Oh, crumble.
Yeah, because it's super sour. So I'm thinking if I put it in a super sweet environment, it's gonna be super good. So right now they're going crazy because they want the crumble, and we're like, yeah, ask. I don't know. I guess
The half cap and honeyberries is the same thing.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, but it's nice when they can see the result.
Yeah.
And again, when this helps with daily gratification.
Yeah.
We're not able to collect enough honeyberries for a crumble in a day. It's been
So you have to
3
freeze it.
days. Yeah, I freeze them, and they're like, oh, maybe this time. And eventually we're going to have our crumble.
I was thinking of doing a crumble with my black raspberries, but I have like I froze. The first day I froze what I've harvested, and then the second day I ate it with breakfast and snacking. And then I have to go back tonight and harvest, or tomorrow morning another cup. But I'm like, am I supposed to do liqueur? You know, liqueur of black raspberries. That sounds like super fun adulty drink for like when fall comes. Or do I dehydrate them? I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
So
What I'm sure of is that I need more honeyberry bushes. That's
I ordered 2 indigo gem and one aurora. And my aurora is the variety that is the pollinator, and it
Okay.
died. So I
Oh,
have to find someone that has the aurora variety so that next year my indigo gem can actually flourish. I have the powder to make babies, so I'm actually working on making more. But I think I'm gonna have to order more in the spring of next year, and like
well, I
those
have no
things.
idea what I have. I was so lucky because the past the people that lived here actually they were not super insane on like growing their own food, but they liked to do it. So I do have some honeyberry. It's a huge bush of honeyberries. We have blueberries, a few raspberries. I have asparagus.
Nice.
Yeah, I discovered them a few weeks ago. I went to see my own asparagus, and I thought it was dead because I pushed my luck a little bit. I think the ones I bought grew in zone 3, and I was like, it's tricky here because it's really cold, but we do have a lot of snow, so we can push the limits sometimes. And I was looking at my asparagus, and I was like, oh, it's arrived, but there wasn't anything. And I came by the house and saw this big like thing coming out of from behind a bush, and I checked
Nice.
and I saw this asparagus. I was like, oh
That's
my
nice.
gosh, yeah,
Let it go to seed, and then this is what I'm doing.
yeah.
I'm actually sacrificing. I sacrificed this year's harvest. I was on year 3 for mine, and I
Mhm.
let them go to seed, like so that they can like quadruple. So it was a hard decision to
Yeah.
make. Next year I'm gonna have a lot, and I just thought of something. Hascap. If someone buys it at a local hardware store, you have the pollinator included in the bush. So they grafted the pollinator. So you have one plant that has like maybe one or two of one variety, and then they have the pollinator variety. When I bought stuff at Walmart, a lot of the time it says that the pollinator was included inside. But I know that the honeyberries you have to have 5 of one, and
Okay.
then you have to have the pollinator that goes with it. And indigo gem goes with aurora. That's what I learned
Well,
this
I'm
year.
guessing someone near has another one because I did plant one last year myself, but it's like super tiny. But the big one here is like huge. It's like
Do you know where you bought it?
I bought it at the
So
local
you
store.
might have the two grafted together.
Yeah, I might.
You
Yeah.
might. Are you looking forward to the harvest, like the big boom of the season?
Yeah, I'm a bit anxious about it. Honestly, right now I think I'm in denial. I come back a little bit depressed from my garden because right now it's a huge mess. And know I shouldn't I must not do that, but I keep comparing it not consciously to Southerners gardens,
Oh, come on.
which yeah, I
You're in
know
zone
I should not
two.
do. I know, but I'm like, but to me, it always feels like too good to be true to plant something, have it grow, and then harvest something. So for the few things I harvested so far, I'm like, oh, wow, I got so lucky. But I know it's not lucky. I mean,
Well, you're
it's
in zone 2B, right?
yeah,
Well, you should grow a lot of greens.
yeah, I do. But
So,
right now, I just have. It's funny because right now I say this and I look there, I see my garden, and because I say it's messy because 2 weeks ago on June 17th was our last frost date. We
mhm.
had a danger of frost, so I did have to cover everything, and all my tomatoes are with strings, and I did plant the strings with the tomatoes, and I could not cover anything without pulling those strings and putting some plastics and the hockey nets and like all the things I could find to be able to cover this. And I had to keep them covered 3 days in a row, and then I just pulled everything off, and we had to have our dog euthanized at the same time. So I went outside, I just pulled everything and just like left everything there. And so it's the garden is it's less of a mess because it's been 2 weeks, but it's a huge mess, and it's not beautiful because it's a mess. But I'm looking at it right now, and my favorite bed is just right there, and it seems like it just today. So I can't wait to go see. But that's the thing. I need to give myself some grace, I think, because
Of
last
course.
year it's been a year and 2 days we're here today, and we had nothing. It was just
Yeah,
grass, and
remember you
right
told
now,
me that you planted from seeds many things and hoping,
yeah,
and
yeah, just
then
for fun.
yeah.
And I did have some stuff, so I'm thinking there. Why would I fail? But I do feel that I'm not gonna have anything. I know I will. I know in my head I'm gonna have so much stuff. I'm gonna go crazy with it. I know it's gonna be too much, and I know it's gonna be hard to process.
Well,
But I really can't.
the first year, if I look, and I'm honest, the first year I had so much high hopes. I arrived here December, and then like I passed the like my first winter here, and then I broke ground on my first garden in April. It was an epic failure, but I did get food. So we
Mhm.
need like I would say if you break ground on a new garden, unless you have the money and you have the help and you build infrastructure right from the start, and like you don't have like many raised beds to build, like you dig in the ground and you put your compost there, like you build raised beds, so like you're gonna have to wait that your soil gets better, but it takes between 2 to 5 years before you actually get a real big harvest. I remember like
Yeah.
going.
Well, I I don't know. Well, I mean, I know what you mean, but when I say I don't think I'm gonna have anything, it's really in my heart. Like
Well, you're not going
it's
to have as much
yeah, of
as
course
you
I could
think.
have more. Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know because everything's doing well. To be
Okay.
honest, everything's doing well. The greenhouse is doing really, really well. It's just that my mind still doesn't process that it
Oh, I
can
didn't
lead.
have the greenhouse. Maybe if I had a greenhouse, the
Yeah,
first year would have been
I
different.
have these crazy berry tomatoes,
Mm.
and I was wondering because why they were called like that, and
Oh, the
he
multiflora.
yeah, it's like I have like
Yeah.
patches like of small flowers, and they're like
Yeah,
starting
those are
to
fun. Those are fun.
yeah.
The
So
crazy berry or berry crazy or something like that.
yeah, I think T hand is actually putting like the finger on what I'm thinking. The thing that this time of the year is hard because things are just starting to take off. It seems like you won't get much. Then at harvest, you are overloaded or
Yeah.
seem to be, and that's how I feel. I it's really just it's not as big as I wanted it to be, but I still have 10 beds, I mean, and 70 tomato plants planted, I mean.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of food
I'm
with
sure.
that. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure I will cry myself to sleep because unless the kids eat them all, like
They can
from the plant.
surprise you if they love
Yeah,
tomatoes.
that's why I planted tomatoes a lot.
Deanne says, I tell my boys when they can help me, they give me time back that I can then spend with them doing that's it's a full
Yeah.
circle. That's the bad thing. We can't complain because most advice don't work where we live. We have to
Mhm.
realize the people giving advice live somewhere else.
Yeah.
I am guessing it's Darren that's in the house, but I'm going to say hi to your spouse. And yes, it was a good week. I can't complain. I did something I don't normally do. I relaxed and did other things. So I would say yes. I hope they were nice with you too. And I read that. I think I had. Oh yeah. How does your kids view what you do? Do they ever speak about that?
Oh yeah, they it's funny because my son, he's like the little farmer. He wants to be there to shovel stuff. I have this huge soil
Piles?
pile, yeah, pile, uh, that I'm using to to put in the beds and then on the ground and blah blah blah, and I mix it. And he wants to do all the dirty work, which is like,
Nice.
yeah. And he does like to transplant stuff, but and my girl, my oldest daughter, she's more like the romantic style. She wants to listen to Roots and Refuge Farm with me, and she likes to see like my art trellises and thinking how eventually I mean she think it's gonna get as good as in Roots and Refuge Farm, but I mean not only I
She's
don't
a
have her
romantic.
experience, yeah,
She's a
but
romantic.
I don't have her experience and I don't have her climate, so if it gets like,
Well, there are some stuff that can climb.
yeah, we
Cucumbers.
do, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna get as high as Jess does. I
Well,
mean,
if that's what she's looking for, there are some flowers that you can do.
yeah, but
Like the
yeah, she loves,
black-eyed
yeah,
Susan and other stuff. They're viners, and you can have that romantic
that
arch
would nice, yeah,
feeling.
because she always wants her bed, but she's not as hardworking as my son. She wants her bed. I did buy some pre-made. Someone was selling them on the marketplace, so I did buy them, and I have two of them. So my two oldest wanted one each. She wants her bed. She wants to plant her stuff in it, and the idea of being the one that cares for it, but she won't do anything for it. I mean, she will plant her flowers, and because they I did buy them some flowers, but she won't do anything else. But she does talk about the garden a lot to people, and my son too. And sometimes people are like, okay, I don't care, but they really like it. And my third one too, and she likes to play in the dirt, maybe sometimes too much because she plays where she can't. Well, I mean, how can she understand that in May she can play in it, but not in June? I mean, she
Come
doesn't
on,
know.
Mom.
Yeah, but
How
I
dare
think
you?
she's starting to understand because we're starting to eat what we grow
Okay.
slowly but surely. We this week we ate something. Uh, can I say that I need to make a garden tour because I am so proud of my celery. I
I'm
can't imagine.
having also a good year with celery.
I've never been able to grow celery this year, and I don't think I lost a single one. I gave celery to people because it was so nice, and now I have, I don't know, maybe 50 celeries planted, and they're like, ah, look at me, and they're just looking so great.
If you're referencing to the black raspberry liqueur I was talking about, it's not moonshine. It's basically fruit, sugar, and vodka that you ferment for a little while, and then it becomes a liqueur.
Hmm.
Hickory Croft Farm has one with crab apples and one with black raspberries. And I think it only takes a cup of fruit or 2 cups of fruit. I can't remember. I have to look again. They should do well in cooler climates. This year I'm trying 2 varieties of celery. I went with the Utah, the
Me too.
classic one. And then that's the one I think you have to put the dirt up so that it stays white. But then I went with another one, which is called Tango, and it's available on the Canadian seed company called Veze Seeds, and that one's doing
Okay.
very good. And I think
I have
also
the pink,
the pink
how
celery.
it's
I
called,
also have that one.
and this one is doing really, really, really well. And the kids are just going crazy over that pink celery. They're just like, wow, that celery's pink. I want some.
Tracy, I swear this is water. This was my beer. Oh, wait, this was beer. This is water. I swear. I pinky swear. I'm going
Lovage.
Lovage. I heard this name before, but I don't know what it is. It's easier than celery and tastes the
It looks
same.
like celery.
I have to write this down.
Does it? does it grow like a different pace? That's what I want to know. Since I don't
Um,
have problems with celery, I want to
um,
know if I can get something earlier.
that's not what I want. Lovage. I want to know what it looks like. What does lovage look like?
It does
Lovage.
look like a celery with really tiny
Oh, cool.
but big leaves.
Okay. I have to look into
Looks
that.
nice.
Tracy, if your spinach bolts too early, you're gonna have to learn how to transplant outside way earlier than you normally do, and maybe use row covers. Because this year I transplanted my spinach outside way earlier than I normally do, and I ate so much spinach, probably turned like Popeye by the time I finished. What by the time my plant bolted. Me thinks
That's a
she.
thing I learned this year. I need to be less careful with my winter crops, my frost hardy crops.
You call high crops.
Right, because right now my greenhouse is filled with cabbage, broccoli,
They might
kale.
bolt.
Yeah, I know they might bolt, but they're still so far from being ready. And I'm thinking I don't like these that much. I mean, I eat them, but I'm not like a huge fan. So I think I'm gonna have to get them out and put my peppers in there because I want peppers. And but I'm thinking next year I really need to get them earlier in
Well,
the
cold
greenhouse.
hardy crops, the only reason why you would put them in a tunnel or a greenhouse is if you're doing three planting. So I do an early spring, a mid season. So right now I sown my fall cabbages, my fall broccoli and cauliflower, and then I actually do a third planting in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'm gonna plant them in my tunnel, and I'm gonna put row covers.
Yeah,
Well, if I don't have enough in the freezer or whatever, I'm gonna do a third planting in the tunnel. But usually, if you go over 40 degrees Celsius, I think it's 40, they're gonna bolt.
yeah. I
I think lovage is perennial.
Oh, that's nice. Wow, that's nice.
Nice. Well, that's fun. If you
That's a
can
nice one.
harvest year after year after year, that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to look into that seriously.
Yeah. And my last question for you and to anyone that wants to answer it is, are you prepping for a fall garden?
Well, yes. And like you said, you did seed a few crops already. I need to do that too this week, actually, because we're I think 13 weeks away from our in theory first frost date.
We already talked about our first frost
Yeah,
in the mid of July.
yeah. And but yes, I know I have some stuff I really want to grow that I love, which is mostly tatsoi and kale. So I want to fill my beds with that as soon as I can. So I need to get some seeds in some pots, and I want to fill my greenhouse too with carrots too. But that's really what I need to look into. But I need to take care of those cabbages first because I'm like,
First.
oh, they're so nice, but I can't take them out, but I can't leave them there. They're gonna bolt, and they're taking so much space for something I don't care that much about.
Well,
I
you can
just
interseed, like in if you transplanted your seedlings about 12 to 18 inches apart, you could fit a seedling in the middle.
yeah,
And
but
then
right now my cabbages are really like those
oh, they're
big.
big. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
they're taking like the
I
whole
would
bed.
harvest them and do sauerkraut, and you can water bath sauerkraut after it has fermented. You can look on the website of, I'll send it to you. Send me a message and I'll send you the recipe. So you do the sauerkraut, the regular fermenting, the days that you want to ferment, 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, whatever. And then you water bath it. It's on the website of the USDA, I think. Like this, the the safety guidelines of canning.
Why?
It's on that
Mm-hmm.
site.
Okay.
For my part, I just sowed my brassicas. Just give me a sec. Someone's at the door.
The little gentle tuck tuck tuck. Like, I don't want to bother you, but I will. Tuck tuck tuck.
They're just knocking to bug me. So I did that, and I have to do my roots. So beets, my sugar beets, and then my greens. So lettuce, and then Swiss chard, kale, and all that. I'm gonna do like a second planting of that. Oh, I have to turn off the camera.
You know the
My son's in his like underwears. I want to show like on live TV my son just in his underwears. Sorry. Allez en bas. Allez en bas. I was kind of caught off guard there. So that's pretty much what I have to do. And yes, if you want to do a fall garden, I know it seems early, but usually it's now.
Yeah, I don't feel like it, honestly. Finally, I just like emptied this, and like this whole space. It was because I'm at my husband's desk right now, and I was feeling so bad because I had this huge mess of like stuff overflowing, and I'm like, yeah, I need to start again. And I don't really feel like it, but I'm gonna be glad I do it, honestly. And I need to plan for I did have a green stock, and I did buy it to bring it inside during winter. So I want to plant in there like peppers and maybe dwarf tomato plants and stuff like that. So that's something I need to start to plant that right now. But sometime soon, I want them to be ready when my other warm crops are gonna die.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind that if you don't supplement lighting,
instead
of like if let's just say a pepper is 80 days, it's gonna take maybe 120 days because you're gonna have to supplement with lights. To answer,
of course, you can grow stuff. Sorry, I was reading.
To preserve kale, you can freeze it, so you have to blanch it and then freeze it. You can dehydrate it, and I think you can pressure can it if my memory is correct. I'm not super sure about pressure canning, but I think you can. Fall garden, yes, you can. Any cold hardy crops like brassicas, kale, Swiss chard, anything that can withstand a frost. I'm not talking about minus 20 degrees Celsius. Turnips, rutabagas, beets, carrots.
Cauliflower actually survives down to minus 10.
Well, minus 20, everything dies. Here.
Yeah, but I mean, minus 10, I know that with good covers, that I think that can lead me maybe to December. I mean,
if I was doing my stuff right, I could have food in my tunnel till January.
Yeah, exactly. We have the really, really, really hard frosts, like the minus 40 degrees.
Yeah, in January. Yeah.
In January,
we have some occasional frost in December, but with the tunnel, if I put row covers, I kind of can buy myself like up to 8 weeks. But like you need the tunnel and you need the good covers. Like if you put one layer of covers, it gives you like 5 degrees. If you put 2 layers, it's 10 degrees plus the tunnel. So you can grow food. You're zone 4, so I'm sure you could grow food in your greenhouse with row covers up till December.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you see, all those things I planted mid-May, they only sprouted like 3 weeks ago and started growing last week. But there's a difference between sprouting and growing. I mean, some stuff need some heat to grow.
Yeah.
And once they're out, they don't need that. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't need as much heat.
I find that if it rains, like a deep, good like rain, and then the next day it's like super sunny, super hot, things can actually grow like many inches.
Yeah.
my tomato plants went like from this like they're out of, some of them are all, I already lost control of 2 rows of tomatoes. So
Yeah.
all it took was 1
I'm
week of
looking at
rain.
mine right now there, and I'm like, I have like one bed that really like is filled. And the thing is, when I covered stuff, my beds, one of
Yeah.
them had tomatoes, broccoli, and I just sowed some dwarf tomatoes and dwarf beans in there. So they were covered for 3 days, and when I removed it, it was like a carpet of green, and now it's like
Yeah.
when it feels like it's gonna. It's so nice.
Uh, my greenhouse is going back in the box at the end of October. Too much risk of losing it in the snow after that. Sure. I would actually try, like maybe like put walls, find a way of make it safer, because you could grow till December.
Yeah,
I had food growing in my high tunnel till December, and then I forgot to close the door one night and it died on the first week of January. If I would have closed that door in January, I still would have had food. No row covers. So since you're like one zone under me, you would have ate, like, and you would have put like a cover on top of it, you probably would
you can,
have been
but not
fine.
with this attitude, Remy.
Well, Annie says something interesting. Every year I say I'm going to push my greenhouse in the fall, winter, but I don't do it because I'm way too
Yeah,
tired after October.
that's the
So
thing.
I say last year was the first year I did it. I planted a 3rd planting of brassicas. And one night I was so tired. Like I crashed. Last year I think I crashed in October, and I crashed really bad. And that night I was like, fuck it. Sorry. I just said screw it. I left the door open and everything died. I'm like, whatever survives, survives. I think one plant survived and I was able to harvest like 1 cabbage, but the rest all died. But we are super exhausted. So if you're not up to it, like, don't make the
Yeah,
investment of a 3rd planting. But it is possible if you're not pooped.
yeah, you can just not do it too. I mean, it's not mandatory.
Unless like you're like super tight in space and like you have to do 3 planting to make it work to preserve a year's worth of food or 6 months of food, do it. But like on the scale that like I do it, Annie does it, we crash like really bad in October and November, and then
Well,
like
yeah, that's the thing. I'm thinking I want to do it. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. I'm gonna try. But my logic here is to think I want to do everything I can to have as much variety I can, which means like the canning, the freezing, the all that stuff. I want to have as much fresh stuff as I can, which means more fall crops.
yeah.
And like this is the only reason I bought my tower, is to
Yeah.
have at least a few fresh. I have strawberries and herbs, and right now I'm planting like various stuff, radishes and stuff like that. But the plan is to have tomatoes and peppers and beans during the winter, fresh ones. I don't
I
know how
think
it's
this
gonna
year
end up,
I'm only going to do greens.
but having
Greens
greens is
in,
it's so nice to have, to have that fresh stuff.
I think that's the
Uh,
only thing I'll do. That's it.
but see,
Like
Remy, excuse, Remy plants more radishes, spinach, and lettuce in about a month. But that's how you do it. And I'm talking as if I have experience about it. I don't. I really don't. But my understanding of it is that the more cold and the less light we have, the slower it is. But radishes can survive in really cold soil.
yeah,
I mean,
turnips, radishes,
yeah,
spinach,
and carrots.
greens. Cabbages, it's touchy, but like the rest, like uh, maybe beets, small beets, they're gonna do great. I think that's the only thing I'm gonna do, like for fresh eating, like a 5-6 beets here, 5-6 beets there, turnips and greens. I think that's all I'm gonna do, so that I can really recuperate this year.
Yeah. But like Ecocentric says, there's
There's
more. I
through
mean, we
homesteading and
do need a
growing food.
break.
Yeah, mentally, physically, and like emotionally, we
But I
need
do
like
feel
we need.
I do feel I get this more than enough in January and February. I
Well,
just
in
can't.
February, like you were talking to me and you were like daydreaming of tomatoes.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It- sorry. I
Something.
I s- I knew someone that's sorry. I'm reading about the kale. I know someone
Yeah.
that actually keeps it for a while, but I don't know how long. I don't see why not. I mean, if
I
it's
don't know.
dehydrated.
I dehydrated my. I didn't do kale chips. I just put them in like in little strips and dehydrated them, and I put it in a mason jar. Like I plan to use it within like less than the next 6 to 8 months. But I always look at my jars to make sure that they look fine. I think freeze drying it would actually be safer, but that's a big investment. I can't get radish to grow. They always bolt. Well, eat the pods. Eat the little radish
Mm.
pods. They actually are very good.
I am actually falling in love with radishes. I don't really like radishes. I grew a few here and there because my boyfriend likes them, but I did start to saute them. It's so
Salted, they're
good.
nice.
Yeah, with the kale and the tato and the beans and the
Mm.
radishes. Oh, yeah,
Okay, now I'm hungry. Stop it.
and the garlic sprouts. Mm.
Yeah, the garlic scapes.
Yeah,
I'm
escapes.
almost done with my scapes. Like I have like one or two
Me
recipes left I
too.
have to do. And then in 2 weeks I'm gonna be so much garlic.
Yeah, I don't have enough garlic for my taste, but next
Well,
year's gonna be better.
uh
I
I
did
have
plant everything I had last year. I
well
have
you'll see.
maybe
With
70.
years you'll have more.
Yeah,
It is 8 o'clock for me, and I'm like
yeah.
half an hour past my dodo time with my kids, and I can hear them. They're like right next door, and they're like little
Mama.
rascals. So I thank you guys for coming in, chatting with us. I thank you, Danielle,
Yeah,
for popping
thank
in.
you.
And
Thank you for
I
inviting
hope
me.
you guys have a wonderful evening and a nice week. And for my American friends, tomorrow is the 4th of July. So happy 4th of
Yeah,
July. I hope you have a nice day off and enjoy the festivities. Take care, everyone. Bye.
bye.